The views and opinions expressed on Wrestling Winedown are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, employer, or company. What's up, guys? It's Lo, and you are tuned in to Wrestling Winedown, a female-founded and hosted podcast dedicated to professional wrestling and our favorite adult beverage. Twitch streaming has taken the world by storm as the world's leading live streaming platform for gamers and other things that people love. Whether you're playing video games or watching professional wrestling on your stream, there is a platform readily available for you on Twitch. On this episode, I am joined by 4 female Twitch streamers who also happen to be professional wrestling fans, including Jerée, 1/3 of the Face Speed Heels High podcast, half of the Church of Joshi, Kayla, also known as Kaylavision, Justine, also known as Jussie, who is an Australian graphic designer, and finally, Alia, a Texas-based Black content creator and future wrestling commentator. We chat about the ladies' interest in professional wrestling and how their interest has progressed over time, their individual Twitch journeys and the difficulties they've experienced, the wins that they've had in the community, including building relationships with wrestlers including Amy, Lita Dumas, Vickie Guerrero, Trinidad, formerly known as Zelina Vega, Paige, and many more, as well as what advice they would give to anyone thinking of starting their own Twitch journey. So grab your glass of wine. We're going in for the 3 count. I have some amazing ladies here today, and they are wrestling fans, but they're also Twitch streamers.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Let's get into your guys' interest in professional wrestling. How did it all begin for you?
So I actually grew up around a lot of boys. So my first introduction to wrestling and one of my first memories was watching The Undertaker marry Stephanie McMahon. However, I was terrified, like literally legit traumatized by that. However, when you grow up with boys, you always you feel like you have to keep up, you know. So no matter how scary wrestling was to me, I continually kept watching until I started identifying people that I really enjoyed, like the women, and then like eventually the Hardy Boys, and which made it enjoyable for me. And then of course I fell in love with it from then on in. So, and I'm still here.
I got into it around 2013. I did not grow up with it. My husband did. So he fell back on. I kind of had like a mild interest when I was a kid. My grandmother actually recently told me that every time wrestling would come on as a commercial, or if it happened to be on her TV at her house, I would fixate myself on the TV as a kid. So I had like bits and pieces growing up, but it was 2013. One of our friends invited us to a Royal Rumble party, and I never went back. So I got sucked in to CM Punk. And then it went from there, and I've been ripping ever since.
Yes.
Well, I'm fairly new. Wrestling has become a quarantine baby passion.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, so I did watch it like very brief, and when I mean like hella brief, like blinking, I can't even remember. I do remember Stone Cold, The Rock, and stuff, but I have 2 younger brothers, so we would watch it like whenever it was Raw or SmackDown, whatever was on. But I thought it was like actually real. I didn't know it was like a telenovela. So I was like, oh, with the drama and all of this stuff. But then I like, got away from it, and then I didn't get back into it recently until I just had my 1 year, I guess, like April 2020.
Funny that you compared it to a telenovela, because I mean, wrestling is theater, and Jerée and I are both theater geeks.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's just to look at it when you finally like make that connection that it's essentially, because I would always walk into the kitchen and Aaron would be watching it, and I'd be like, why are these people yelling at each other? Like, who did what to who? I need the tea. I need the drama.
Exactly.
And then like all of the showmanship is really like when you're a theater kid, or when you're like a big pop culture nerd, like when you find the showmanship and the flashiness of wrestling, I feel like that's what really gets you.
It was definitely that back then, and then I completely got out of it, and it wasn't until it's like so weird to say, but I watched Fighting with My Family and thinking that it was going to be like a family drama or something, and I was just basically trying to watch like all of Florence Pugh's movies for quarantine. I don't know, I was bored, and so I watched Fighting with My Family, and I had no idea that it was a true story. I had no idea about Paige or any of that. And then I was like, oh, well, let me like go online and start like YouTubing some matches and older stuff. And that's where I found like, you know, Charlotte and Becky and the Bellas and all that. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I just kept watching it. And my fiance was like, okay, you're watching a lot of wrestling. Is this a thing now? Like, are you a wrestling fan? I was like, I guess. And it turned out like the weekend I watched Fighting with My Family, or like that, I watched it a couple of days before WrestleMania. And I told my friend, Christina, who is on the podcast with me, I was like, you should watch this movie. And she was like, oh, I've seen it. I actually really love wrestling. And I was like, what? Since when? And she was like, I've always loved wrestling. I've been watching wrestling for years. I was like, oh, what? And she was like, yeah, are you going to watch WrestleMania tomorrow? And I was like, how do I do this? And she was like, oh, you go on the WWE network and do all this stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And so that was like my first WrestleMania. I watched with no fans, no nothing. And it was
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was basically just like voice memoing each other. And I was like, who's this person? I hate them. Seth Rollins came out. That was hatred at first sight. Who is he? And so, and then Becky came out and it was love at first sight. Basically, we were just like voice memoing back and forth. And that's when she was like, oh, do you want to do the podcast? Like, do you want to start a wrestling podcast? Me with like two things in, like 2 shows in. I was like, yes, that's a great idea. We should do that. And I've just been watching it ever since. So a year.
I can't imagine being like starting your wrestling fandom in the era of no fans. Like that is so wild to me, but it's also really interesting. And I love that.
Yeah.
Because it's a completely different vibe of wrestling.
I know. I can't wait to see my first like live event, but yeah, like nobody.
So that's so exciting. I'm excited for you.
It was fun because like with every pay-per-view or anything, they're like, this is Jeree's first Royal Rumble ever. Okay, we're going to explain to you how it goes. And I was like, okay, what are the rules? This is the first ever Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. So like every pay-per-view was the first one for me. And yeah.
Oh, to actually have full consciousness of your first, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fun. That for you.
Yeah, that's it. So it all started with the freaking movie produced by The Rock.
So Alia and Kayla, you guys have been watching for a while. Have you ever lost interest in wrestling? And if you have, what has brought you back in? I know Kayla has, because I've read your tweets.
Open. I am very open. I'm actually one of those periods right now. I do still watch wrestling. Just a different type of wrestling. So if we're talking about like TV wrestling, I'm in one of those periods right now. It's just for me, it's like oversaturation. There's just too much going on and I don't have time. I don't have the brain space for it. But I feel like there's also that like normal fan post-Mania like downtime. So like the road to WrestleMania is wherever everybody always like picks back up, except for me this year. It also makes a difference when you're not going. So like when you're going, you feel like you have to invest in the story and so on and so forth. But I feel like that like normal downtime after WrestleMania, then you have SummerSlam, and then you have like nothing until Royal Rumble that you want to care about. So like those are honestly like my yearly downtimes, but right now I am in kind of like, I'm not really watching a lot on TV. I'm watching a little bit of AEW just where the Joshi girls show up. But for the most part, like you could try and rope me into a conversation about something going on in NXT, and I will be honest with everybody, and I tell all of my community, because they're like, did you see what happened on WWE? And I'm like, no. I haven't watched it. Yeah, I haven't. I keep up on Twitter. I keep up with current events on Twitter, just because like I do like to try to follow the storylines, because if I see a storyline that I want to invest in, I will start watching. But they haven't grabbed me with anything this year. But I am still watching wrestling. It's just all Japanese for the most part.
Honestly, Kayla and I, of course, are in the exact same state of wrestling. Like that's us always. Like quarantine kind of prioritized differently, because I actually am within the wrestling business as well, you know, so my view on wrestling kind of changed in the quarantine era. It's too much stuff going on. I didn't have time to prioritize wrestling, so I kind of fell off of TV completely. I still watch AEW Dark because a lot of the Texas girls are featured there, and like those are the girls that like I shared a locker room with, you know, so like of course I'm going to support them. Like Kayla, I'm not in the current state of wrestling right now. I've been watching a lot of WCW. My boyfriend and I started at the official Scott Hall invasion in 1996, and we just got to 1997, the first show of WCW then. So I'm going backwards. Like I'm enjoying my wrestling of the past right now.
That's kind of what I want to do, because like starting starting in 2013. Like, I am no wrestling.
You've missed so much.
I've missed like all, and I mean, I'm a big Dave Bautista fan, so like I go back and watch a lot of his stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's a different approach you could take to watching wrestling. Watching wrestling, you don't have to watch the current product. You can watch the old stuff. You can watch wrestling in different countries. So like, I feel like wrestling's always there. It's just, what am I watching? What is keeping my attention?
Alia, you mentioned that you are a wrestler. Can you share your experience training in Texas?
I'm actually not a wrestler. However, due to the dues that you have to pay within the business, whenever you do decide to train for a role, it is 100% recommended to do wrestling training as well. You need to know the safety of the business, where everything goes, why things look a certain way on television or during a match. So I did 6 months of wrestling training. I bumped, I've jumped off the top rope, I've been in a submission, I've been in the matches, like I've done it all. But I wanted to be a manager at first. You know, I wanted to be like the Zelina Vega of the current day. But to be like the Lita of the older days, I wanted to be that active manager. However, now that like COVID has completely prioritized me, I'm going more of the commentator route. I'm dealing more with the behind the scenes activities of wrestling. And honestly, that's kind of more of my vibe. I said it probably won't happen at the end of this year because I really want to focus on my master's program, but I want to create a lesson plan for indie wrestlers or for social media. It's one of the biggest issues that's popping up. A lot of these talented stars just don't know how to represent themselves.
Right.
I see my value in wrestling further than just being a talent now. I see that's something that I have a passion for. Like I'm a content creator. Like that's what I am. And I want to see these talented people succeed in this business because there always is a superhero story in wrestling. And there's so many people that I know within this business in the indie division that deserve that shot, but just needs that extra push and extra attention to know the business. That's kind of where my head is in wrestling right now in Texas. I'm doing extra stuff, of course, because I'm always extra.
I'm excited to see your journey. I don't know if you know this. I mentioned it on, I think I was talking to Alex, actually, Queen of the Ring, and we're talking about the Wrestle Bays. And I had mentioned that when I first got on wrestling Twitter, the first two people that I had followed in the wrestling community were you and Alexis.
Yeah, I do. Yes. I know. Yes.
So and it's been really great.
I've been following you from jump. Yes. Love you.
Let's jump over to you, Kayla. You formerly hosted the Battleground podcast with our friend Lena. How did you get involved and how was that experience?
Obviously the experience, you can see how my face lights up when you guys talk about them. Those are, I love Battleground. Battle, Eli, Lena are just like some of my closest friends. I keep in contact with them, like just because I, stepped away, like we are still very close friends. So this is actually one of my favorite stories. Eli from Battleground actually approached me on Twitter via Southern Underground Pro, which is our local promotion and that we both were going to. So this was like right when my husband and I moved to Nashville. We didn't have a ton of friends, but I've known Jussie, Righteous Jussie that announces for them and has done some other announcing. I've known him for like 15 years. And then some of our other friends from back home, we live a little bit deeper in East Tennessee is where we grew up and lived. They were into wrestling. So they had actually started coming down to Nashville when we moved because I got transferred for my job down here. I'm sorry, technically I got a promotion, but whatever. We moved to Nashville and they were like, hey, let's go to this wrestling show. So we started going, and I, that's my home to this day. But Eli actually approached me on Twitter and it was completely unrelated to wrestling. I give him crap for this like, even now he'll throw himself under the bus during this story. He prefaced the message with, hey, I'm not trying to be a creep, but I see you're into horror movies. I'm starting a horror movie podcast. Would you be interested in joining? And it was just, we'd had a couple of interactions on Twitter. Eli's the nicest guy on the planet. Yeah. And I joined Music City Horror, which was myself, Eli, Lena, and one of my good friends from back home, her name was also Kayla. That's why I go by KB for the most part now. But I started with them. We ran Music City Horror for a while and then we ended. We decided to move over. Well, Eli moved over. He was already working with Battle and we phased out Music City Horror, but he obviously like, he was like, come with me. Cause we all started we went to Double or Nothing together. Like we would go to all the local shows together. And, like even he and my husband talk music all the time. So he pulled me onto Battleground and it was a blast. It was a blast. It was a great experience. It was around the time that COVID happened when I decided to step away. COVID happened. I thankfully, I still work full time as an admin, but I had decided to take the Twitch journey. And I actually started hosting my Battleground segment with Lena, which Alia was actually one of my guests. Yes. You can find that. You can find that on YouTube.
The VOD, yes.
On YouTube. It's there. The whole stream is there. But as my Twitch kind of morphed into something more, and my Twitch really started to expand, I took a step away from the podcast because it was clear I couldn't, I can only juggle so much. I can juggle a marriage, a Twitch stream, and my job, and that's about it.
Don't forget the dogs.
Yeah, right. Yeah, having a family, having my little dog family, that's enough. And I was stretching myself thin, so it wasn't fair to them. So I stepped away to be able to really concentrate on like my creativity and what I wanted to do, because I'm new to all of this. I mean, this has been a completely new experience. And I do think that being on Battleground absolutely helped me prepare for it. They helped me have a great segue into content creation and helping me understand my own voice and being able to hop on and talk to strangers. Cause we got to do a lot of really neat interviews on Music City Horror, and we would host horror movies and at a local cinema that did like in-house horror movies, and we would be able to like go up there and host and promote ourselves. So it's been a crazy road. And now I'm kind of not necessarily flying solo, but I kind of wanted to spread my wings out of the nest.
We have to talk about Twitch. Let's get into it. When did all of your individual journeys begin with Twitch? We'll start with Jerée.
My Twitch journey started July of last year. Also a quarantine baby. Also because of Paige. Which now when I think about it, I'm like, damn. Yeah, I kind of just started. I didn't even know what Twitch was, but she was on it because I like the movie. It all goes back to that. So then I was like, oh, let me go on her Twitch channel. And then I don't know, one day we were like playing Mario Kart and she was like, oh, why don't you? And I was like, why don't I? Let me try it. And then I just kind of tried it. And then I fell in love with it. And I saw that it was definitely like filling my time during like quarantine with like not being able to, because I don't go nowhere, and I obviously I can't work because I work in the restaurant in New York, so that's obviously closed. So I literally had nothing to do, and it was really great because I also do musical theater, which I can't audition for or do because of COVID. Yeah. So it was the perfect creative outlet for me because I had the podcast, but again, that was like, that's like one interest, and it was just wrestling. But with Twitch, I find that I kind of fell back in love with gaming, which was something that I never had time for before, because it's always like you put in like Kingdom Hearts and there goes your day. Like your whole day is gone. So before it's like, whereas I would be doing like dance classes or voice lessons and acting classes, I now have just like a whole day to just like play video games. So it really was just something I kind of just like fell in love with, and kind of just felt like the stars aligned and everything was just like, it was just meant to be. So I just fell in love with it, and I've been doing it ever since. Yeah. Almost a year, hitting my year anniversary soon.
Kayla, you kind of mentioned your journey. Can you go a little bit more in depth about how yours began?
I am a makeup artist, and similar to Jerée, I'd started a little bit earlier than July, but I had no creative outlet. I couldn't touch people's faces. I would have a wedding every weekend. We couldn't do that anymore. So I'd wanted to start a Twitch for a long time. I've always been big into playing video games, but I never sat down to really like look into what all it took to have a Twitch channel. And it is a lot. So I kind of just said, okay, if I'm going to do it, this is going to be the time. I've got the time on my hands. I'm working from home. My husband, thankfully, is very good with computers, and he's great with tech where I'm not as proficient. So he helped me build a computer. I was due for a computer anyway. So kind of, like Jerée said, the stars aligned. So I just pulled the trigger. I sat down and forced myself to learn graphic design and learn Streamlabs and learn audio and all of this other stuff, and I've picked up all of these new skills, and I just went for it. I mean, it was really kind of almost an experiment for me. Just to see like if I liked it, just to have something, to have a hobby. I mean, it's very much started out as a hobby, but once I really got into it, I realized that I'm good at it and I have fun. And when you start creating a community for people where they come in and they share happiness with you 3 times a week, whether we're watching wrestling or playing Mario Kart or anything like that, that is why you keep doing it, is because you start meeting all of these people and you share almost like your own little universe with them. And that's the best part of it. Like, that's the best part of it. That's giving people something to look forward to, just to come and just watch wrestling, like through the joy of wrestling and video games and comic books. Like, you find people. We all needed each other at that time as well. So everybody was stuck at home, and it's just, you just open your door and you're like, okay, let's hang out. And it's been a great experience. I've learned so much. Oh my God. Like I've intook so much information, and I've been able, I mean, Alia started around the same time or right after me. And so we've been able to go on this journey together. And then Alex started. So we've all been we were all close beforehand. I mean, we've been friends for years. We've traveled together. We've went to shows together. We've slept in the same bed together. We've held hands walking to the freaking Royal Rumble in Phoenix, like screaming about cheese, like macaroni and cheese wedges. So like, just to be able to go on this new path with my friends along with me and make new friends along the way has been like, it was the joy of 2020, 100%.
Alia, when did your journey begin? Kayla mentioned that you guys started at the same time.
I started at the very end of July. My Twitch journey actually started after I got laid off from my job in April. It was the first time I've ever been laid off. So I fell into a really bad depressive state. And the only thing that I looked forward to was not April, March, was Animal Crossing releasing on the Switch. Like, I am a big Animal Crossing fan, and all that I wanted was a Switch. Like, so I bought a Switch Lite and Animal Crossing with Let's Go Pikachu and Spyro. And I legit worked in my depression through video games. And ironically, this Animal Crossing game is like my least favorite Animal Crossing game. Like, I don't even play it anymore. After Bunny Day, I know she does, and I'm like, I hate this game because I'm such a huge fan of the franchise, you know. But during my time in video games, my boyfriend had actually started his Twitch journey as well. He started before me, like in April, and he was watching this game called Paladins, and on Mixer, I fell in love with this first-person shooter co-op game, and I downloaded it on my Switch Lite, and I grinded it from like May to when I started streaming. Like, every day, all day, I played this game Paladins on my Switch. Slowly but surely, like gaining my confidence back after. And then during this time, I'm getting rejected from so many different jobs, like just trying to get some type of money. And, you know, so like the only thing I had was the comfort of video games at that time. With Kayla, after she brought me onto her Twitch channel for her podcast, this was something like, if I'm playing Paladins all day and I just want to be able to show my skill that I've acquired, because I feel like I work really hard, and find new people to play with, why don't I do that through the communities that Twitch provides for us? So with my little MacBook and Elgato capture card, I started doing Paladins from my little webcam. And from there, I found my true mission in Twitch, which is promoting and bringing BIPOC gamers their inclusion and their rights. You know, as soon as I got on the Twitch, I seen that this was a terrible problem. And I'm lucky for the community that I have and featured on the Black History Month wheel, like the front page people and the women's International Women's Month. Like, I'm grateful to know these creators firsthand, but to still see the harassment that they went through during these times of celebration. With my content creation, I also started launching a gaming website called the Kayla Chronicles, which is essentially my story of bringing these marginalized groups into light. So along with my Twitch journey, finding a better cause is kind of like the secondary right now. I want to use Twitch to find all these other creators who deserve these spotlights and the recognition in order to try to change the way gaming has worked. So that's kind of why I'm on Twitch and my current Twitch journey. I'm still a really small creator, like the grind that Kayla has is so strong.
I'm still a really small creator.
Yeah, she's like, I'm smaller than Kayla. Like she's a small creator, but I'm like even smaller than her. But the grind that she has, and I admire it so much, but that's just not where I need to be in my Twitch journey right now. So I see my current mission, and I'm grateful to have found a community of content creators, and we do huge things. Like we're starting to plan a charity stream, and we have an Apex tournament that we're going to host with a $400 prize pool strictly in donations, so like we're trying to give these people a chance, these gamers a chance that whose voices aren't really heard or silenced by harassment. So that's me on Twitch currently.
Jussie, can you tell us a little bit about your Twitch journey and how it began?
Yeah, I'm still relatively new. So I did a test stream in December. I really got into Twitch around October of last year. And I basically joined Twitch to watch Amy Dumas, Lita, stream. And then just watching her, she just inspired me, just how she grew a community herself. She's a big wrestler, so I didn't really think I'm going to be big on Twitch just like that. So I just thought I'll just see how I'll go. I'll do a test stream. It was literally almost New Year's Eve when I did my test stream. And I just remember what really pushed me to do it, because I remember probably 5 years ago, I thought one day I'll make a YouTube channel and I'll just talk about myself and stuff like that. And I just remember just testing my camera, doing stuff like that, but it never came to fruition. And then, so I thought okay, this is my chance. I understand, I've been watching streamers do their thing. I thought okay, let's see what I can do. Just thought I'll just do a test stream. I was quite overwhelmed by the support. I had a few people come and cheer me on and chat with me, and I've never been much of a talker myself, so I was just so surprised when I was talking for 2 hours or something like that. And I was impressed with myself. And then after that test stream, I was okay, let me do another stream and push myself. So I did more streams. And then I was just overwhelmed by how I was able to reach affiliates so quickly. I did it within just over a week. And I was oh, there is something there. And it just really inspired me, because I've been out of a job for over a year and a half now. And I just thought, okay, this is something for me to push myself, push my creativity, and just get myself out there. And I just felt it just really gave me a voice. And I'm still relatively new, and Kayla, Jerée, and Alia, I've looked up to them thinking, oh, they do amazing. They've got hustle and stuff like that. I'm just this person who's just doing it. I don't know what I'm doing.
We all just do it. Oh my God, I don't know what I do when I go live.
The key is to not stop doing it.
Yeah, of course.
The key is to keep the ball rolling and adapt to yourself. Change something and elevate something once a month. Learn something new about your software once a month. It's always just keeping things going, keeping the train moving. That's all it's about.
True.
And showing
so
up.
True. Yeah, of course. I'm still relatively new, but I've already had so many challenges on the way. But the key thing was that I decided to continue, show up, and just no matter what, if I have a bad day or just something happens, I've realized that when I stream or something, it just puts me in a good mood. And I just thought it was so powerful. And just this is just something that I can further grow. And it's just, yeah, an amazing community. Like what I find so amazing that like when people come into my chat, I'll be like, hey, what's up? Like what's going on? And I'm just curious with like what's going on in people's lives. And before, like when I would meet people, I'd be like, oh, they probably think I'm just not interesting and stuff. I would be so down myself, and just getting so much positive feedback. I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not that bad as I imagine. So yeah, it's
Been there.
yeah.
What exactly do you guys stream on Twitch? You were mentioning the games before we started recording, the games that you guys were playing, but I know Kayla, you do some wrestling. Jerée, you've done some wrestling as well. So we'll just go around and have you guys mention what you usually stream.
I sign on most of the time now, and we have a couple of set things that we do during the week, but everything else is just a free for all. However, we play a lot of Mario Kart, a lot of Dead by Daylight, also sprinkle Animal Crossing in there as well, and Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I am heavily a Switch player. Usually it's Switch and PC that I play on, but we also watch wrestling every Thursday. We are in season 1 of Lucha Underground right now. So I think we're almost at the end of season 1. So we do that every Thursday. And then every Sunday with Alex, Queen of the Ring, we do Church of Joshi, which is like my pride and joy. That's my baby. So we watch Japanese women's wrestling every Sunday. It's always a different topic. This month, actually, our topic is a whole month long of one promotion that we're a big fan of. We're doing Chaco Pro Gato Move, which is a very small promotion based in Japan. However, a lot of the women are on AEW. Emi Sakura, Shida trained there. And it's a tiny little, just really wholesome promotion. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's really out of the box wrestling. So we're going to watch them all month long, but we've done Io Shirai, we've done Asuka, we've done Yuka Sakazaki. So that's kind of like, that's my bread and butter. That's my pride and joy in wrestling right now, is all of the Joshi wrestlers. So we do that every Sunday. The whole shtick is that we don't know anything about Joshi. It was kind of one of those things that, like Alia said, she was going to play a video game every day anyway, so why not stream it? So the whole idea behind Church of Joshi is that Alex, Lauren, and I, because we all comprise Church of Joshi, we were going to watch Joshi together anyways. Lauren's been into it. We were going to go see, I think it was AJPW in Tampa before the original Tampa Mania got canceled. So we're like, okay, let's just educate ourselves. Let's just start watching Joshi. And then we turned it into a show. And it's just been...
It's an amazing show, by the way.
Thank you. It has been
amazing.
The best thing in the world. I mean, we've got a lot of really great people that have a lot of knowledge that come to our streams. So we provide the platform, but there's a lot of people in our chat that keep up heavily with Joshi, that they know everything that's going on, and we call them our historians. So they come into the chat and they spread the word, and they educate everybody about, where people trained. Like there were some people that trained with Mako Satomura that I had no idea. So like it's been a great, it's been really fun doing that with Alex and Lauren, but having people, Joshi enthusiasts, come in and actually educate us has been the coolest part. Like, it's the best wrestling in the world. I will take that to my grave. Like, there's nobody better than a Joshi girl in a ring.
It's pretty badass.
Oh, it's incredible. Shout out to Lulu Pencil, which is my shirt from Gato Move. Lulu Pencil is the greatest wrestler of all time. So that's my variety. I guess in technical terms, I am a variety streamer, because we also do like comic book. We're starting comic book club. We do a comic book every month. We're doing our first one this month. So at the end of this month, we'll have like a whole stream where we talk about the comic book that we read together. I mean, it's really whatever we want. Sometimes we just watch videos of raccoons and like people using hot knives to cut through soda bottles. Sometimes that's what happens. And that's the best thing about Twitch, is that, yeah, maybe you stream the same night every week, but you can do whatever you want. And if you want to just hang out with your community and watch a movie, or if you want to play a game together, you could do whatever you want. It's always Russian roulette on my channel.
I'm not a gamer channel as per se. Like, I really started off as like just chatting and just really having that platform just to talk and just get to know my community as well. But like when I first started, like I did some art streams where I used Procreate and Adobe programs, just a small little project I was working on. And then obviously the Just Chatting where we talk wrestling, and I've grown up where like some of my chatters pick a wrestling match and we can just watch it. That has given me the opportunity just to talk and just learn more about wrestling other than just what's on now. So it's been really good because I've never been the type to watch back a wrestling match or just watch a match that's already happened. Like I'm just the one that's rather watch it live, and then if it's done, it's like whatever, like I'm not going to watch it. And then so watching these other matches that I've never had the chance to watch, like it's been quite educational and just quite fun. And then obviously like I try to do like at least one gaming stream. Like I usually do it on Saturdays, my Saturdays. And so far I've done like The Sims 4, Tekken, WWE 2K, I'm not much of a gamer, so I tend to lose a lot. And so like The Sims 4 is easy to play, so it doesn't put a lot of like thought into it. But other than that, I mostly do Just Chatting.
Well, I stream 4 days a week. Mondays is my Just Chatting day because I have to watch Raw live for the podcast. So Mondays is literally they have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea what's going to happen. Literally, it could go anywhere. One time we watched an entire compilation. Like I think we spent 2 hours on her sister was a witch. And what was her sister? A princess. The Wicked Witch of the like. Literally.
Oh my gosh.
So we spent like 2 hours on that once. Like it's literally like you never know with the Just Chatting streams where it's gonna go. Wednesdays I also do Just Chatting from 4 to 8, and then we have Broadway Wednesdays, which is my favorite day because my community is heavily based. The majority, I wouldn't say all of them, but the majority of them are wrestling fans, and a lot of them are wrestling fans who don't know anything about musical theater at all. Never seen a musical.
Oh my God.
Solidarity, Jerée. Solidarity.
Yeah, exactly. Or hated musical theater. I think the moment when I realized they didn't even know what Rent was, and that's okay if you guys don't know either. I know Kayla does, but it's okay if you guys don't know. Like the second I realized that like they didn't know what it even was, I was like, what is happening? So I was like, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my platform to start educating you all on musicals. And so every Wednesday night, we watch a musical on stream. And I think we're like 6 months into it or something like that. And they have seen a shit ton of musicals now. They've seen everything. We go from like classic, like Rodgers and Hammerstein, all the way to like Rent and Newsies and even trash like Love Never Dies. Like we watch everything. So I do that on Wednesday night. Friday is my community play day. So we always play Mario Kart until my thumb hurts, and then I'll switch to a different game and we'll usually play something else. Like it's usually Dead by Daylight, or I'll go into we'll do Jackbox, whatever it is that to have like it's just a time to play with them and give back. And then Saturdays I do RPGs. Today I finished Final Fantasy VII. It was great.
Woo!
Yay.
How was it?
It was so beautiful. But yeah, it's probably my favorite. But yeah, so that's usually what I do. But I do a lot of like 12-hour streams sometimes. It depends on like they like helping me meet goals, which I'm just so blessed to have the community I have because they've done so much. Like there was a music venue that was very special to me, which is a jazz club in New York that was closing because of COVID. They just couldn't pay anymore. And I did like a couple 12-hour charity streams, and they just go above and beyond. And I got to raise over $1,000 to, help. And now it's like saved, not just because of us. Obviously they needed so much, but it was just really nice to see that like, I'm not like a huge big time streamer yet. So it's like, my little small but mighty community of like 40 to 50 people came together and like helped me raise money for this club. So it's just amazing. My stream is very community focused. So it's all about them for the most part. They make me do ridiculous things. Like I do Bean Boozled challenges and the One Chip Challenge. They help me dress up as like Seth Rollins.
I'm sorry.
Again, thank you. Thank you for that. Just because they know I hate him. We just reached another sub goal. So now my fiance has to dress up as Becky Lynch. Techie Lynch. His name's Taylor. Techie Lynch is is going to be a thing. But yeah, that's what we do. So it's just Mondays, just chatting. Wednesdays, we watch Broadway shows. Fridays, community play day. Saturdays, RPG Saturdays.
So me, I decided to take my Twitch journey into a different route from the wrestling community. There's just so many other people who know wrestling and can explain it and present it in a better way than I can. However, I still wanted to still show my appreciation for it. Mm-hmm. Also, everybody knows that I am a Disney fanatic. My former alias, Main Street Rat. I worked for the DSP twice. I love Disney. I felt another reason I fell into my depression is that COVID canceled our WrestleMania Disney trip, and it was something that I with Kayla and Queen of the Ring.
Don't bring that up,
oh my god, all of us were supposed to go. Oh my god, the way that our Magic bands are still in my trunk, that's how close it was before it was we shut down. I call my community, my stream is the Purity Kingdom, and I call them the Chrono Click because they're too sweet to me. So that's my connection into wrestling, and I just want my community to have a Disney World experience whenever they come. I call them my annual pass holders whenever they sub.
Aww.
I wear my ears every stream. Everybody wants to know what ears am I going to wear today. The ironic part is that I play first-person shooters. I shoot everything. So I say we're the Purity Kingdom where we say a lot. That's us. Yes, we pew pew all the things. So I am a huge Apex Legends player. I play Call of Duty. It's just me and the boys, but there's Disney karaoke in the background. That's what we do. And there's always someone one of the guys just singing while we're shooting things together. So me and my little small communities of pew pewers, we pew pew play, and we love Disney, and we talk about Disney Plus. We just had a whole WandaVision doodad together, so that's what I do. I don't touch wrestling. I haven't even played a wrestling game. Again, I wanted to try something new for my community, bring something different to our Twitter community, So some people come in and just watch me shoot, But yes, that's me. That's me and my Chrono Click, because they're, again, too sweet to me.
So I will open up the floor. I've went on Twitch before. I don't know how to use it. I'm asking y'all, what was it like to learn this new platform? How long approximately? I know you guys are still learning as the days go on, but how long did it take you to really learn the basics of everything?
I will say YouTube is your best friend.
Yes.
Anything you have to do, how to put in little pets in stream, YouTube. It will literally give you a step-by-step. So it's once you learn,
taught me everything I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Me too. I love
Bless you, hair color. But yeah, once you pick your software that you're going to stream from, it's literally that. It's how to put in sub goal Streamlabs OBS, and it'll be here's what you do. Here's where you click. I'm excellent. And then once it didn't take me too long. I have theater brain, actor brain, so it's not hard for me to retain information or things. But I did need everything step by step, because it's very overwhelming when you see something like a fresh software and you're how do I connect the camera? How to connect camera into Streamlabs OBS? How to make you stop hearing yourself in your head? Whatever I had to do. It's literally just YouTube, dude. YouTube has everything, and I'm still learning everything.
Yeah. I mean, it took me, I want to say that I worked a good 3 months on my entire setup before I went live. So I really worked on everything and got everything set up and got all of my graphics done and got everything the baseline level the way that I wanted before I went live, and I've been tweaking it ever since. I mean, I finally feel aesthetic wise and where my alerts are and how everything looks, I feel right now my stream is where I want it to be. I'm about to roll out new graphics hopefully within the next month, but I've got everything finally almost a year in, I guess the most presentable version for me, and I'm the most anal retentive person about my own stream. I'm constantly changing stuff. I'll finally feel like I'm going to be able to not touch it.
Dude, I went live on a tablet. My first ever a freaking tablet with 2 RAM.
My anxiety doesn't let me function that way. I had everything. I had everything. I learned everything. I taught myself graphic design for Joshi because I make all of the ads. So this has all just been learn video editing so I can clip my own stuff and start my own YouTube. Like this is all just like me teaching myself everything. So like, but to get to my base level, I spent about 3 months to just start, but that was my own experience. Some people can just set up a cell phone and be fine with that, but like I couldn't do it. My anxiety won't let me do that. But yeah, so it's just it's really a personal experience of like how many bells and whistles do you want? Some people don't. Some people don't want that stuff on their stream. Some people want stuff everywhere on their stream and they want all of the bells and whistles. And it's all very personal. Your stream is definitely a reflection of you, but there's some people that also just want to click one button and use Streamlabs Pro and have a graphics put up with them. Like it's all. Twitch is so personal that it's what you want to make it, and it's you can put the amount of effort. I've told pretty much everyone this: when you first start streaming, get a free stream package or sign up for Streamlabs Pro where they have free out wazoo. It's like $12 a month. Install one of those like free themes and let yourself fly. You don't have to have people make your stuff. But I chose to make a lot of my own stuff at the beginning until I got to a point where like I knew I was going to stick with this. So now I've actually started commissioning people that, because I am not a graphic designer. So Lee's finishing up my stuff and hopefully it'll be done within the next month or so, and then I'll feel like this is my stream. I'm gonna try really hard not to change it.
With me, I just like Kayla, we did the whole I'm a planner. Like I said, like the connection between me and Kayla is going to be a repeated factor.
It's weird.
It's weird. But me, I'm very homemade. I used to be a graphic design major, so my entire overlay I did on my own. Like I did all of my graphics I did on my own, and it took all of YouTube, because you need that extra go ahead to be like, hey, how does this work, or how come this image isn't showing up right here? So definitely a lot of YouTube went into play. I also ran off of a MacBook at first that was really, really old with like an old battery. So my first Paladin streams were like really laggy and stuff, but the vision was there. Like I had my EXE overlay. It's a little bit tweaked now to where I want it, but like back then I had a clear vision, so it wasn't that bad for me to keep going.
Right.
But I still had to do that plan. I knew what I wanted my vibe to be, which is the old computer aesthetic, even though my graphics look completely different from where I am now. I wasn't going to start without that first vision, so like Kayla, I had to plan it out. But now, again, I'm homemade. I'm making my own trailer right now. I'm like in After Effects doing YouTube videos, trying to figure out how to create my own animations so I can create my own transitions eventually. Like I'm very gung-ho on doing it myself. The only things I really commission for are things that I have to draw. I went to art school and I switched to tech school in my first semester because I failed so bad at drawing 101 in college. So like, that's why I was like a failed graphic designer. That's why I just went into media production to graduate and be a producer. I was like, I'll just be a producer. I can't do this. But yeah, that's my Twitch journey. I'm very technical.
Alia and I are both very visual people. So like we're always like sending stuff back and forth. Like, should I do this? Should I do this? Yes. We bounce ideas off of each other. Like if we're working on a graphic, like we try to send it to each other. And that's like, I've got Lauren, which I'm so thankful for, who is essentially like our creative director. Like being that person, like me and Alia definitely like wanted to have everything to a T before we ever went.
Very detail oriented people.
Or we'd be freaking out to each other.
Yes. Oh my God.
I'm a graphic designer myself, and I just before I did my test stream, I just whipped up a random graphic. Like I went to Pinterest, looked up, okay, Twitch graphic overlays, like give me inspiration, and I literally whipped up my first overlay. Like I spent like probably an hour on it, and then like I placed it in. Like I looked up, I used YouTube and Google, like how I use OBS, whatever, and then. Yeah, like I remember my first stream, I didn't plan it properly. I'm just like, I'm just going to test this out. I don't know what I'm doing. And then, like I remember using my headphones for my mobile phone. Like when I was doing the test stream, like someone in my chat was like, oh, like you should buy this microphone. I was like, all right, I'll buy it. And that's what I did. I just bought it the day up, like when I finished my stream, and I literally got it the next day. And I was just open to suggestions because I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Just tell me what to do. And then, like I can say I'm a bit of a procrastinator. So I said, okay, I'll do it. And then it takes me a bit to do it. But like with my graphics, like it was quite a slow rollout. So I've just tweaked my overlay just recently. Like hopefully like I can grow it a bit more. But literally that's what I did. I just made a quick overlay and just went with it. And each time if I want to, like if someone's like, oh, you should do this for your channel, something like, I'll try and look it up and get a bit understanding and just try to implement it. So that's what I love about Twitch. So you can keep learning. Like you can't end up being complacent. You say, oh, I've got everything. Then sort of just like you get an idea. It's like, okay, let me try this. And that's the best part. So my journey just started with like a random overlay that I made. So I'm a big fan of Sailor Moon, and so my star sign is a Cancer. So I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna have moon.
We actually share the same birthday, me and Jussie.
Oh yes, we do.
Cancer squad in the chat.
We do.
Yes,
Cancer squad.
It's like me and Jussie actually share the same birthday.
Yes, I almost forgot about that. Oh my god, yes. So that's what like the idea I went with and just went with it. So that's how my journey pretty much started.
Jussie and Kayla, you've actually had interaction with Lita or Amy Dumas on Twitch. Can you explain how this interaction came about?
I get so flustered every time. It was random. It was absolutely random. So the majority of my interactions with anybody of any kind of like high level namesake has been random because of the Twitch algorithm. Normally it's on Sundays. They say that we're watching Joshi, and I'm thankful to have a larger community on Sundays. A lot of people come to church every Sunday, and we have a lot of fun, but that means that we're a little bit higher in the sports category, and we get suggested more often. So she found us that way, and she came in, she followed in the middle of the stream, and then just randomly one night she raided me while I was in the middle. I think I was in the middle of a DBD match, and I like had a mental breakdown. So it's like that's another really special part about Twitch is that Medusa's on there. Like Alundra Blaze has her own stream. So like you're able to have these really more intimate connections with these superstars. And out of all of that, I've become friends with Killer Kelly. So that was like on a bucket list I never had. And because we have a lot in commons, and she happened into my stream just randomly. So it's really all about
I was there for that
if
day.
they decide to click on your stream and to make themselves known, it's just crazy. And I went to Evolution with Alex to see Lita wrestle and cried the whole time. And then
I was there too.
And I mean, I dressed up as Lita. I did like my own like version of a Lita cosplay. So because she's just always been, of course, somebody who I very heavily identify with. As an alternative woman, tattoos, I'm just like a little bit, I'm not super girly, but I want to kick the shit out of you. So not really. I'm a Cancer. I said that earlier, so that just gave that away. But no, I mean, it's just I got lucky enough that she clicked on my stream. I mean, it's just it was a very surreal fever dream moment to see her name pop up on my screen, and I was like, oh my god! Like I've never met her before. I've never had the pleasure of meeting her, and just to have it like almost switched is like she came into my space, and I'm like, how? And it's just that's just the beauty of the Twitch algorithm. It just decided to show me to her, and she decided to click. And it it was just crazy. It was crazy.
For me, like I mentioned it earlier, that when I first joined Twitch, it was just to see her stream. So she was promoting it on her Instagram. I was like, okay, let me try this out. So I didn't know Twitch, and I thought it was just gaming. So when I saw streams, like she was just chatting, being interactive with her fans, and I was like, oh, like I lurked for a bit, and then when I got the courage to just say hi, I'm a bit nervous. I don't know Twitch, and she was like, hi, Jussie, like how are you going? And I was like, oh my gosh, she acknowledged me. What the hell? And then after that, I just continued on going to her streams, and like I call myself Jussie, but she playfully calls me Juicy. So I just stuck with that. And then, like I joined her streams probably in October. And then by the end of October, like to my surprise, she modded me. And I was like, what? Like she trusts me to be her mod?
Oh my gosh.
I was like, holy, okay, cool. Like, I don't know what to do with this. I'll be a mod. And then so I've been a mod of hers like since October. So she had a Halloween party, and I had like a quick so I remember you being in there too. So she had like a free for Zoom calls, and like I had a Zoom call with her, and I was pretty much deer in headlights. So I'm just like, wait, I'm talking with Lita, like and then and I thought like, oh, I probably did a bad impression on her, whatever. And then after that, she modded me, and I was like, okay, cool. And then so after like following her Twitch, like she encouraged me to do my own Twitch, and then I went from there. And so it's been like so cool. Like she sent me like a Christmas card, and she sent me some postcards, like personal messages, and I was just like, oh my God, like how did this happen? Like my favorite wrestler of all time, like treating me like one of her friends. And it's just so amazing. And I'm quite grateful of it all. So it's still hard to believe. Like when I just said it now, I'm just like, oh my God, like
and
really?
mods are invaluable. Mods are
I love my mods.
I mean,
oh my God.
Mods are
Can you guys explain what a mod is?
A moderator. So they help manage your chat. If somebody comes in saying something off color, they can get rid of them. It's one less thing for the streamer to pay attention to. So like, I mean, it's very well known that the moderators of a chat are just as important as the streamer. It's not easy to manage a chat and play a video game and try to talk to people. So like we choose our mods very carefully because there has to be some level of trust there, even if it's something, somebody that you've never met. They're an extension of you, and they're an extension and a representative of your community, essentially. So like if they're not helping and if they're not protecting the rest of the community, that's you want somebody that will be just as protective and share your values, essentially.
Jerée, you've been able to build relationships with people like Vickie Guerrero and Taya Trinidad, also known as Zelina Vega. You even had Vickie on your podcast, Faith Speed Heels High. Can you share with us how you've nurtured these relationships? Kayla and Jussie have talked about Lita and how they've nurtured their relationship, but how have you nurtured yours with these different individuals?
I feel like it's just a running theme, but it really all just goes back to Paige. So Paige modded me on her stream. I met Thea through Paige because they're best friends, and Paige is who got Thea into streaming on Twitch. Anyways, so they used to do this thing called Sister Sunday. They still do Sister Sunday, where it's like the three of them and another friend, Raquel, play games every week. And then one day Paige just asked me if I wanted to play. I can't remember what game it was. It had to be Among Us, or it was probably Among Us. So I met Thea through her, and I can't remember how I met Vickie. It's really crazy. Vickie came into my stream somehow randomly, or I found out that Vickie started streaming. That's what it was. I went into Vickie's stream and she like knew who I was. I don't know. I have no idea how. I don't even think she'll tell me if I ask her now, but she said, she was just complimenting my stream and telling me that she was like, it's the most beautiful stream and this and this and this. And I was like, what? That's so crazy. And so I was like, well, I can help you whenever you want. And she was like, yeah, like if that's okay, if you don't mind. So I was like, okay, sure, no problem. And so she gave me her phone number and just told me to FaceTime her so I can walk her through. Basically, I was the YouTube in the situation. And I was like, so you're going to click here and you're going to do this. It was like helping my aunt, like, figure out the internet. How I got her on the show was pretty crazy because I called her and she immediately didn't even say hi or anything, was like, I didn't know you have a podcast. And I was like, oh, yeah, I do. She was like, why haven't you asked me to do it yet? And I was like, okay, would you like to? And she was like, yes. Why haven't you done this? I was like, okay, all right, fine. You can be on the show. Like, you have to beg. Like, I'll let you on. It's fine. And so yeah, I told the girls, that was before I could even tell my co-host about it. So they had no idea. I was like, so I have something to tell you guys really quick. It's not a big deal. And they were like, what do you mean? Because obviously they were fans like way before me. So they have all the history there. Right. Fandom. And yeah, Thea, it's crazy when you think about it. Cause again, it all just goes down to the magic of Twitch. It's just so insane because of this, like if I go back on our first ever episode of Face Beat Heels High, which was Meet the Divas. And we had, the question was, if you could like go out and have like, dinner with anybody and just talk to them about their career, who would it be? And like my answer was Paige, because I just feel like she's done so much for the, women's evolution and just everything, just like how her whole story just inspires the out of me. And now she's one of my best friends, which is so odd. And like Thea now, like it's a running gag. Like every week she sends like freaking 20 orders of French fries to my house from Burger King.
Oh my God.
Like it's so like she literally the other day sent me 8 bottles of Garnier conditioner, just conditioner, a box of Band-Aids and Kit Kats to my house. Like it's just one of those. Yes. I don't even know. I think it really is probably has a lot to do with Rhea as a person. I think it's like having her like be like, oh, this one, like, she's my friend, so you guys can be friends with her too. It's how I met Lita. It's why I have the relationship with her as well, like that Jussie knows. So it's just like, it's kind of just weird. And yeah, like Vickie's now like my aunt. Just so crazy. And like, I understand because it's like, I haven't been watching wrestling as long. It's just like, I'm a new baby fan, but like, I understand who Vickie is. And like, I know it's a huge deal, but she's just like inviting me to her house. Like whenever I go down to like Texas, she's like, yeah, come down to the farm and like hang out and we'll have margaritas. She would come to New York and like we'd hang. So it's like, it's just one of those weird Twitch alternate universe situations. Whereas like when you look back on it, you're just like, how does this even happen? And with Thea, it's hilarious because I was low-key scared of her because Zelina Vega is scary. And I was just like, oh, I don't know if she's like being mean to me on purpose, but she's like, nah, she's the nicest person in the world. And yeah, it's just insane. It's just insane. It's just Twitch being Twitch, bro. Twitch is just crazy.
Looking back now that you've started and you're in this journey, is it what you thought it would be or is it completely different?
No, like I legit thought that I was going to be the greatest paladin streamer in the world, right? Like, and now I'm doing Apex tournaments. So I'm doing Apex tournaments and screaming loudly, calling people the B word every 3 seconds, So I never thought that I used to hate Call of Duty. Like I despised Call of Duty and Halo growing up. And now these are like my favorite games in the world. And it's thanks to Twitch, I found that I have a passion in team-based co-op first-person shooter games. Like this new game, Outriders, that just came out, is a co-op game, campaign game where we just shoot aliens. And I can just hang out with my friends and we just talk about life, put some lo-fi music on in the back and just shoot people. And I'm grateful for that community. I didn't expect that from the people who were Paladin streamers, the current Paladin streamers at the time. Like they don't have that. So I didn't expect to have a community at all. I thought I was just going to show my skill and do what I do. But I'm glad that my Twitch journey has changed and I'm doing really great things right now. So I can't really deny it. I love my Twitch journey currently.
Before I go, I had an embarrassing moment because Kayla mentioned that Medusa was on Twitch now, right? So she came into my channel and I had no idea who she was. Yeah. No. That was my face exactly. Well,
you don't have to know everybody.
You don't have to know everybody, but they probably crucified her.
Oh no! Like my stream was like, oh my gosh, her name is Medusa Rocks, right? So I thought it was like maybe a fan account, and I was just like, oh, is it actually her? And she was like, no, it's like really me. And I was like, okay. And they were like, just all of them roasted me and were like, she doesn't know who you are. And I was like, that's not true. Shut up. And it was like the whole thing. Like, yes, I did. Be quiet. Google real quick, but yeah. But no, my Twitch journey, no, not at all. I did not think it was going to be what it is now. I thought it would just be this casual hobby. Like, yeah, I'll play some games and like maybe like meet a few people, or I did not. What I was not prepared for was my community. My community is crazy. I did Zoom calls. I didn't even think it was something that they would want. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, you guys want Zoom calls with me? Okay, sure, we can do it. We'll do it on Friday. And just hearing them and like telling them how much the stream has helped them and like how much they look forward to every stream, like every day, and just like how the community themselves has helped them. Like it's just, I wasn't prepared for all of that. I've cried over them like so many times because they'll like my Discord will just be full of messages of just like, wow, I really needed the stream today, and like thank you, Jerée, for all you're doing. And I'm just like, I'm just out here just being me, you know, just like talking to you guys and giving you guys a space to just be yourselves. I wasn't ready for all of that at all. It's just, I think that they were the biggest surprise for me. I'm gonna get teary-eyed just talking about them. Oh my God, stop! Don't look at me. So
no, I'm right there with you. I mean, it's,
yes.
Yeah. So I wasn't prepared for that at all. I was just like, oh yeah, I'll just play some games. Like I don't even know if anybody was even gonna watch. So not just to have like, you know, people watch and like, but have them like, it's like always the same. Like it's never just like a one or two regulars. Like literally all of them are there every stream, and just to hear like what it means to them, like I mean it's just I wasn't ready for it. I think that was the biggest surprising part. Like I can't, I love them. That's
mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the most shocking part, is that I'm nobody. Like I'm just a person. I'm not a wrestler.
Right.
I'm not a YouTuber. I just am a human that exists. So to have people come and care, for me, it's like, yeah, sure, they care about me, but they also care about each other, and they protect each other. And there's times where they come in to the Discord, which like I didn't even know how to use Discord, and one of my mods literally created my Discord server for me for my birthday. So like for them to like want to see me grow and want to support me, but to also support each other, even if it's just like talking to each other into the Discord, if you've had a bad day, if you've had a good day. One of my community members is going through their Masters of Sociology program. So like we're counting down the days until they graduate. So it's being able to share it's being able to share the happy moments together in the middle of the content creation, which is really nice. It makes it really feel really genuine. Because at the end of the day, like I'm literally just sitting in my office and I'm playing video games and I'm running software, and that's all I'm doing. Like, yes, I'm working hard, but it's about, like Jerée said, creating a space where people can come in and be who they are and like what they like and be fans of wrestling. I had one person come in and say, you know, I'm so thankful that I found Church of Joshi because everyone made fun of me for being a Maki Ito fan and thought that Japanese wrestling was weird. But I've been able to find people that share that love like I do. So it's it's watching them find each other.
Yes.
It's like the most fulfilling part for me is when they reach out and maybe, like I said, they've had a hard day or maybe they've had a good day, but they feel like that they could talk about it with everyone because it's not about me. Jerée said it's about the community. It's it's a good streamer who's doing it from a good place, and yes, we're making money, like that's just part of it, but it's about the interactions, it's about the human interactions, and it's about, I mean, I'm married, I have somebody in my house every day, and I don't have to feel alone, but I've felt less alone. I've felt more social, which I have issues with being social. I'm much different in person. If you come up to me at a show, Alia knows I can be very shy. So it's kind of like given me the confidence to spread my wings socially and to like talk about the things that I love. So it's given me a place to grow as a person as well. It's kind of forced me to come out of my shell because most of the time, like I don't leave my house.
I know exactly the same feeling.
It really, it makes you comfortable with yourself as well. Like it's good for it's self-confidence, not just like not feeling pretty, or it's about human self-confidence. It's about just pure interaction with people and just sharing human moments, like where it's just, that's hard to do over the internet. And it's hard for people to do in general, just because it can be difficult to express yourself and to be able to come in and express yourself freely with other people who are doing the same. But also, like, if you have somebody that comes into your community and they obviously are not a good fit, it's about making the hard decision of like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be here because you're ruining the vibe. Right. It's all about, my community is all about the vibes. We're always chill and full of love, and we take care of each other. And that for me has been like, that just has blown my mind. It's been absolutely life-changing. Like, not being dramatic, it has literally changed my life.
No, if I can just say, like pre-streaming, pre all of that, like as an actor in New York, like I struggled, I guess I'll say, with auditioning. Like, you get so like in your head, and I would just get nervous for some reason. It's like the person at the end of this table is capable of giving me my dream. And so, you psych yourself out, and like, or like you think that your singing is not good enough. And now I feel like streaming has helped a lot in that aspect, because now it's like, well, I'm just singing for people on the internet. Who knows how many people are watching? So I feel like that is going to help me in that aspect of my life. Like, I'm going to walk into the next audition that I go into, like, with no fear, because it's like, I sing on Twitch for like, who knows how many people, like, it doesn't matter. Like, there's 4 of you here. I'll just sing, no problem. I really do think it's like, it's helping in that way. So it's just crazy when you kind of just think about like all the little ways that streaming can help you.
Thank you, ladies, for joining me today. Where can the people find you on social media, and when can they find you on Twitch?
So you can find me at the Kayla Chronicle on Twitter, because it just won't let me add the extra S. I don't know why. But on Instagram and on Twitch, you can find me at Kayla Chronicles. That's KHALIACHRONICLES. I am live every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday starting at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. My schedule has been slightly inconsistent due to my puppy stuff and just a lot of stuff going on. But now that we've gotten that taken care of, we're going to be back on track. So yes, Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, I play primarily first-person shooters. We may be doing Call of Duty Zombies or multiplayer, or just grinding on Apex Legends. If you are very into shooting, shoot with me. I love playing cooperatively, and let's just send the whole lobby back to its lobby. So let's do it together.
You can find me on Twitch and Instagram at my handle at Jussie. So it's Jussie twice. And my Twitch schedule so far, just it's usually Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, like Australian Eastern Time.
Instagram and Twitch is both Jerée Reyna, JereeReyna. I'm on TikTok, Jerée Reyna 87. I'm on Twitter as WildSpice87. Threw a curveball in there. And I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saturdays at, I think I'm going to start 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So yeah, come hang out, watch musicals with me.
I am on Twitter at Kaylavision, like WandaVision, but Kaylavision, KaylaVision. I am on Instagram at Kayla.vision because Kaylavision wouldn't give it up. So I had to put a dot in there. I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Tuesday is usually game night. Sometimes we'll watch some AEW Dark if some Joshi girls are on there. Thursday is always Lucha Underground. And then probably more games. And Sunday is Church of Joshi. You can find us, Church of Joshi, at Church of Joshi on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. We just recently started uploading our backlog. We watch Japanese women's professional wrestling every Sunday. And we're about to watch Chaco Pro, which I'm stupid stoked about.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wrestling Winedown. You can find all of our other episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you listen to your podcast. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at WWDCAST. Let us know what you thought about the episode. What was your favorite part? Until next time, enjoy your wine and, of course, enjoy your wrestling. Cheers!